Hello and welcome to Brickstars. In this video we're taking a look at the evolution of the fire station sets. This is a Lego City theme, and even back in the day we're looking at only the sets that have the minifigures. So we're not going to be looking at sets that are part of modulars, part of the Christmas series. We're not going to look at large builds. We're not going to look at Duplo, Lego Friends. We're not going to look at anything other than what we call a standard Lego minifigure style set with a fire station that is part of the Lego City theme. Obviously these are all beautiful sets and maybe we'll cover them in other videos, but for now we're taking a look at the actual fire stations. So this is this year's set. We did a little video before this set came out, sort of to introduce it. And this set is beautiful looking, and it got us thinking how we can look at the previous sets, see where this has all come from, the build styles, how they've changed, how they've evolved, the figures, everything. So we're starting back all the way at 1957. In 1957, they released this Lego set. Here you see on the left hand side. Obviously at this time they had no minifigures, and they had this very basic looking building. 1970 came around, now they have the vehicles and this very basic style building, and then in 1973 we get another basic style building, this time white, again with three vehicles. The vehicles, even they evolved over time. They started off quite boxy and square, and then here we have what looks like a van that has a bit of a slant. So even here you could see the style changes. And then in 1978 we got this set. Now what's interesting is this one actually looks like the set from 1970, the yellow fire station, obviously tweaked and changed a little bit. Now we have larger vehicles that came as part of this set, and we get these minifigures. Now what is really cool in this set is the fact that not only do we have these two kind of doors, we get a large base plate, this clock tower, an antenna, and our figures. Now the figures at this time obviously had very basic printing, and not even all of them had it, and they had, you know, hats, they had the works. So for this time, this is a pretty good set. You can imagine getting this in 1978. I mean, that means you would have been born in 1970s, so I'm probably talking like a lot of our parents' era. So for them, this would be unreal. You get the tree, you get all this little stuff, but what's really cool is the big truck here has a ladder and how they used like these like bricks as lights and everything. So they really made do with what they had. I do like the style of this fire station. Looks like a California, Santa Barbara type fire station. Really nice. Then in 1981, we got this set. 366 parts, 4 minifigures, and now you can see that they got this base plate that actually has kind of printing on it, and this cool building. It has 2 garage bays, it has a lot of windows as you can see, and skylights. Now with this came 4 minifigures, 3 of which were this top one and 1 female firefighter. Keep that in mind because there's going to be a long period where we're not going to see any female firefighters, and then we will have them as we get to more modern sets. But now you could see they introduced other things into this, including stickers you see on the door and on the vehicle number, as well as this kind of theming. It looks like 2 axes that have and some kind of fire on the edge. And here's another image, so you see the 3 same firefighters and then the 1 female figure. What's really cool is the sliding doors, these windows. Again, really nice style. It is a boxier build, of course, as you get in that 1980s era, but nonetheless, it still looks excellent. And I do love how they use these sloped windshield pieces to create kind of this protruding skylight. And now you can see they introduced more detail on the vehicles, the grills, the lights, so we ended up getting these very flat, thin pieces that we now have. So overall, this is a really nice looking set, which leads us to this one, 1985. 3 minifigures, 384 parts. In this case, we get two minifigures that are sort of male figures and one female, but it seems that she's either some sort of receptionist or civilian, or maybe works at the base. But what is neat here is that this ladder works, but not only that, what's neat is that the style of building that you see here, including this kind of command center place and this tower, is something that we're going to see repeated throughout a lot of these sets. Really nice base plate here. Nice use of the blue and the red. I actually like that, opposed to just having red and white. Kind of looks neat here, especially with the windows. And again, we get cool looking skylights. Moving on to 1990. So this is maybe your generation or a little younger. This is definitely my generation. Here you see a very modern looking fire truck, almost looks futuristic. You do have that similar style building. Now they added a helipad, which is really neat because this is now kind of the standard for all the sets moving forward. Now they're not all going to have helicopters, but what they will have is some sort of multiple vehicles, and most of them will have helicopters. Cool looking cannon on this. You get a little truck here. Again, now you're seeing more printing, introduction of flag pieces. Again, this is the 1990s, so this is the same time they had the Western and the other type of sets, so the Forceman, medieval, so you get things like that. Cool looking command center here, and neat parts. You could see how now they have kind of this string piece. The figures, interestingly enough, didn't change, so from the 80s to 90s we still have the exact same figures, except for the captain here who has a hairpiece rather than having this, but we did get a helmet for the helicopter pilot. This is just another scene here. I do like how they use these kind of gates and lights around here, and this base plate, they don't make base plates like this anymore, but really neat, kind of establishes the whole framework. Now what's interesting is this logo now has the two axes, and they ditched the fire and now have a fire hat in the center. You're going to see an evolution of the logos as we keep going here, but just wanted to bring that to your attention here. They do have a really neat interior piece with printed parts, and again, 1990s didn't really have modern computers as we know it, but they had tape recorders and that type of thing, so they have a coffee machine and these little readout displays, so fit for the era here. Then we skip forward into year 2000, so a decently long time has passed from the last one, and now we have this set. Again, it has the two garage style, except this time now we get this very modern looking command center with antennas. They've introduced what we now know as the modern, or a version of the modern logo, as well as a lot of printed pieces. Now this truck does look a little small, almost looks like an ATV on the front, but it serves the purpose, and it has the ladder. And the building itself uses a lot of interesting techniques now, so it's not all perfectly square. You get kind of a bit of a sloped areas and pivots and things, as well as a lot of equipment now. So year 2000 saw, or that kind of era saw, a lot of parts and accessories come out. You get the saw here, you can see the axes and chainsaws and things, so they did add a lot of that. And of course the figures now have a lot of printing. The faces, while they all still have the smile and the circular eyes here, they have a variation of different facial features and a lot of various printing on the shirts. The commander here has the walkie-talkie. These two have identical sort of torsos, and then this one here has a different one actually. So we did get 3 different torsos in this set. 2005, they introduced a new style of firefighter. Now we get this kind of black with the reflective vest, and this fire station doesn't get a helicopter, but you now see the variation of the logo. They've kind of modernized it again, added the axe with the flame and the hat, but here we get a pole to slide down, as well as a 3-story building with a ladder and a beautiful looking command center. The truck is a little simplistic, but again, it is a 250 part set, so there's not that many parts. and there were other fire trucks in this time period that you could have picked up to supplement your fire station. But what is neat here again is the build technique with the various pivots and the accessories that they've now placed all throughout. You got lights, you got these binoculars to kind of act like sirens, and it overall does start having that detail that we're used to nowadays. In year 2007, we get this really big looking set, over 580 pieces, 4 minifigures, but what's neat here is the large fire truck, the small fire van, and then just a massive looking building. I mean, if you look at this, it has a lot of different areas. It has the main building, it has this kind of walkway, a large garage for the fire truck, a little garage here for the van, and they've did another revision of the logo. This time they've added a shield, and I really like this one actually. I love the 3-color design with this kind of chevron, the white chevron here. So this is a really beautiful set in my opinion. Love how they added some flowers and trees, and you can see a variety of different accessories in this build. So this is what we had in mid 2000s. This is a really nice sort of set, and what's cool is we get 4 different faces on these figures. If you look at the logo on the shirt, and of course we get nice looking sunglasses. We got this older gentleman who's probably the captain, and this sort of tough looking character here. So moving on to 2010, we see the same style of shirts used, or torsos, but again it is only 3 years down the road, so they didn't redesign that, but they did stop using that chevron design that I mentioned. They went back to a gray one with this old style kind of axes, but now in this case they actually look like Lego axes. Now these torsos were introduced in 2005, so 2 fire station sets previous, so they've just kind of been reused at this point, but we do get some of these new parts, including this helmet and kind of rebreather. Nice looking fire truck, a detailed fire van, and I do like how they gave you this cat that climbs into the tree and they have to catch it using this trampoline. So nice parts and printed pieces that go on this as well as on the fire station, so the branding now does kind of look all put together and it looks pretty nice. What is interesting is, again, this set is quite sprawling. You get the 2 garages, you get this side building here, and you get the tree with the cat and the ladder on the vehicle. So a large set, wide, but now we've not seen the helicopters. What is here in the interior is again now the detail that we expect in the mid 2010s or in 2010s. So you get the computer screen, you get this little like calculator machine. Up here you have a TV, coffee maker. So this is the detail that we're used to nowadays. And in 2013 we got a very large set, 730 pieces, 5 minifigures. It looks like a 3-story building with a helipad, with a massive fire truck, another fire truck or fire van, a Dalmatian, the pole to slide down, and while the logo isn't a chevron logo, it has this white slash through it with the shield, and it actually repeats over top of the garage doors. So I do love how the branding has evolved over time, and I find that this is a really clean and nice looking logo. I do like how the garage has kind of like a service cart. You can see this guy's towing it, and we get a lot of accessories as well as this sort of flaming box and some pylons. So nice set. You can see here another view, quite detailed and large actually, like you have wide, tall, and long. So it does probably fit in nicely with a lot of Lego style, but it is a little bit bland in terms of it's just a big boxy square building, right? You just have this base plate and you just have kind of a boxy building, which was fixed in year 2016. They came out with this. Now this is over 880 parts, 6 minifigures. This is even bigger, even better, and has a helicopter, has the same style logo. I don't know why they ditched the stickers or the design on the garage bays. I like the previous one a bit more, but the fire station here, this logo there, we get the pole, nice looking helicopter, beautiful fire truck with a lot of detail. We get this food vendor, they're putting out the fire, and you could see here the figures now are all getting that really modern look that we're used to with a lot of colors. They've kind of taken that reflective style outfit and made it even better, added belts and accessories and things. We get this commander that has a beautiful gold hat, and we get the food vendor. Now you could see just here how sprawling this is, and remember how I mentioned in previously it was very boxy? Well, they fixed that here. They gave us revolving doors. They've given us, you know, two angular buildings, a massive antenna dish, and just detail overall that it no longer just looks like a big boxy set. Now it actually looks more sprawling even than before. In 2019, we got a little bit of a smaller set, but it's a first for this, where we now actually see a drone. And not only do we see a drone, we also have a dock. So it is like a fire station on the water, coastal fire station maybe. So we get this little sea-doo, we get lights and sounds, it seems, on your light bar here on this truck. A nice looking building actually, boxy, but has these parts that you see in other builds, such as your underwater kind of exploration sets in Arctic and stuff, kind of these trusses. The drone looks really cool. 2019, that's when kind of drones were hitting it big, so it makes sense. And the level of detail that you see in the building here is quite nice. Now the figures as well, they have a new figure, kind of added this orange one for the water part, and then given some other torsos as well as the captains for the people in the office or in the fire station itself, rather than this one here who has the reflective one that is going out on the missions. And you can see here just the level of detail. I know it's a similar shot, but you can kind of get a better feel for the depth and what's going on in here. So you can see things inside like popcorn, the TVs, a lot of detail, this radio, computer, like iPad. So really this is now a fully modern set, and even though we're 5 years down the road from here, it is still very much relevant to what we have now. 2021 saw 2 sets for fire stations. This may be just because we were all at home during this time and they wanted to kind of maximize the various sets, but you get a smaller one that has 226 pieces and a larger one that has 880, 3 minifigures, 6 minifigures. The small one I'm not going to talk too much about, but you get a motorcycle and this kind of dune buggy. Nice looking building, but on this one we get now the same style of sprawling building with angles, sliding doors, so they even took some of the things that we saw in the previous sets and just built upon it. The fire truck looks quite similar, so I'm seeing a repetition here, but it is a welcome repetition in a sense that it's given us, you know, another large set, 880 pieces, 6 minifigures, 2 vehicles, definitely a lot of playability. But now this kind of modern or minimalistic logo, I think I definitely like the one a few years back with the chevrons and stuff. This almost looks too simplistic, but I do, or the white and red one at least, but the one on the trucks does look great, the yellow and red, and this is for sure something that we've seen quite recently. Now 2022 gave us another fire station set. Again, we've got kind of rapid fire sets coming out in these last 3 years. A bunch of different sets came out, and again, I'm not sure if it's just the popularity of the theme. I'm not sure if it is them trying to expand and create more sets, but it does give us a bit of variety. What is something to keep in mind is, would we rather see sets come out less often and be more thought out or detailed, or is this type of thing preferred? Let me know in the comments what you think. But what is needed in this 2022 set? We got characters with names, we have the female firefighter, and we have a nice looking set here with helicopters and fire trucks. I do love this logo now. So they gave us a bit nicer logo, looks kind of like chrome, with this yellow. So this modern logo, I actually do like how it looks a lot, and this is a great looking set. And this brings us to 2024 with the set we have. This set we have 2 female figures. We actually get 5 overall. We get a drone, so not a helicopter but a drone, and I do love, as I mentioned in the other video, this sort of angled beam member column that's supporting this top area. So that is the recap of the fire stations. Let us know in the comments what you think of the current lineup, what you think of the old lineup, which one's your favorite, and if you enjoy kind of what they're doing with releasing a lot of different sets, or would you rather have sets come out every 5 or 10 years like in the 80s or 90s when they'd have a longer run and maybe be a little more thought out, detailed, and maybe different. So thank you for watching, stay tuned for more, and until next time.